Thank you for the introduction, Ian. Apologies, everyone. I'm going to have to perch my glasses on the end of my nose to be able to read my notes, which is the outcome of 2 years of Teams meetings, which some of you, or perhaps age, I'm not exactly sure which, but my wife says it's age, and I think it's too many Teams meetings. So good morning. I'm delighted to be here to talk about Hertfordshire's green economy and the role that the LEP and Herts IQ are playing in helping businesses transition through to net zero. As Ian said, I am chair of Herts IQ. I also sit on the board of the local enterprise partnership, and I am managing director, not all of AECOM, just the Europe and India piece. Now, hopefully some of you know who AECOM is, but we are a group of 55 or so thousand designers, engineers and consultants that are focused primarily on the built environment and all very passionate about net zero. Now, although we are a US-based company, I'm proud to say that the UK leads net zero for AECOM, and our Sustainable Legacies net zero strategy was developed in the UK, with our office in St Albans, Hertfordshire, playing a really important role in that. Now, I know today is all about the business and the business opportunity of climate change, but I think it's important that we don't forget the moral responsibility that we have as individuals and that our organisations and companies have to deliver net zero, a responsibility that my daughter reminds me of on a very regular basis, and she's vegan purely from a net zero perspective, so we shouldn't forget that. But I am going to talk about the business opportunity that climate change presents, and the work that the LEP and Herts IQ are doing to grow business, the green economy in Hertfordshire, and help businesses transition. I've gone with paper notes to help the transition from slide to slide. Now, I think we all know that climate change is I would have said a week ago, the critical issue facing the planet, but it's perhaps just one of the critical issues facing the planet right now. So I'm not going to talk too much about the background to it. I think we all know that, but there are 3 events that I would like to touch on. The first is the 2015 Paris Climate Agreement, which is a legally binding agreement signed by most of the major countries in the world. And that contains a commitment to keep the increase in global temperatures below 2 degrees centigrade above pre-industrial levels. Second point or event, rather, it was back in 2019 when the UK government committed to being net zero by 2050, and they placed clean growth at the centre of the UK's industrial strategy. Now, both of these commitments, both Paris in 2015 and net zero by 2050 in the UK, are legally binding commitments. So the country is on a journey towards net zero, and we are making progress. The third event I want to touch on is COP26, which, as you all know, was in Glasgow last year. Now, I think there was a lot to be positive about with this COP. There wasn't perhaps the step change that many were hoping for, but there was good incremental change. For the first time, there was no active debate on the science behind the climate crisis, which is now generally accepted as being valid. We remain on course for 2 degrees centigrade, although I think everyone would accept there is an awful lot of work to do for us to get there. And for the first time, there was language on fossil fuels included in the agreement. Again, perhaps not as bold and ambitious language as many had hoped for, but there was still some language included. And for the first time, business really engaged with COP. It was almost as if business has woken up to the opportunity that the climate challenge presents for business. And it's this opportunity I want to focus on, as others have for the rest of my slot this morning, because it's a huge opportunity. Mark Carney, former Governor of the Bank of England and now UN Special Envoy for Climate Action and Finance, described the climate crisis as, the single greatest commercial opportunity of our age. And we're already seeing this in the UK. We're seeing the UK's greens sector grow at a rate of 4 times that of the UK's GDP. And every business can grow by responding to this opportunity. It can grow by enhanced brand. Customers are increasingly interested in the green credentials of the products they buy and the services they buy, and it's a real growth opportunity. Growth will also come from improved employee retention and recruitment. People want to work for companies that are doing the right thing. They want to work for companies that are facing up to the climate challenge. And we certainly see that in AECOM, particularly amongst our early careers community, who really challenge us on our climate credentials before they decide to take a job with us or not. So there's a growth opportunity there. Growth will also come from increased productivity and reduced costs. The efficiency savings needed to deliver net zero will reduce costs, they'll improve productivity, and they'll drive business growth. And growth will also come from improved investment opportunity. The UK government is investing a significant amount of money in growing the UK's green economy, which presents an opportunity for businesses, existing businesses and new businesses. And the good news is that here in Hertfordshire, we have Herts Growth Hub, who can help you access those opportunities. So as well as an opportunity for existing businesses, there's also opportunity for new companies, for new businesses to grow in many areas: low carbon construction, negative emission technology, sustainable agriculture, and in markets such as renewable energy, the transition to wind that the UK is going through, and other markets such as ground source heat pumps, solar panels, EV charging. And there's a long list of opportunities for new businesses to start and to grow. But as well as the opportunity, it's important that business is very aware of the threat that exists. Net zero is going to touch every industry sector. Every company is going to be affected, and companies that don't adapt are at risk of survival, let alone at risk of not growing. Thankfully, many organisations are already aware of this, and you see that happening right now. My own sector, in the construction sector, good construction companies, and there are at least two in the room today, Morgan Sindall and Wilmot Dixon, who are Hertfordshire-based. They're already focused on reducing waste from their construction sites. They have mature processes in place to make that happen. In other sectors, Andrew illustrated it quite well earlier, transport companies and fleet owners already moving to zero-emission vehicles. So that is happening, and there are many other examples. And again, in Hertfordshire, we have the Local Enterprise Partnership and Herts IQ, who are here to help your business transition to net zero. So just to talk a little bit about the LEP. Hertfordshire LEP set up in 2011, so 10 years old, as one of 38 local enterprise partnerships across England, and focused on accelerating economic growth and creating new jobs in Hertfordshire. And in those 10 years since founded, we've done a lot, an awful lot. The team have done some great work. Secured over £325 million of funding for Hertfordshire, delivered over 5,600 new homes, and created more than 6,000 new jobs. And clean growth has always been central to the LEP's growth strategies. And it's one of the key founding principles of Herts IQ, which I'll come on to talk about in a little while. So you can see there the three main areas of focus that we've had over the years. And because clean growth has always been central to the LEP's growth strategies, it's no surprise that clean growth is a golden thread that runs through all of Hertfordshire's post-pandemic economic recovery plans. So, building on the green work that's already been done by every partner in Hertfordshire, and as a kind of a step change following COP26, the UK government's commitment to net zero by 2050, and particularly in response to the Hertfordshire's post-pandemic recovery strategies, the LEP, along with our partners, have produced a clean growth strategy, which I'm delighted to launch today. Now, this strategy is designed to build a greener, more sustainable Hertfordshire economy and lead the way forward for clean economic growth. And it's constructed around two pillars, which I've touched on a little bit already. Growing and attracting low-carbon businesses into Hertfordshire, growing our green economy, and helping existing companies transition through to net zero. So these two pillars are supported by 7 priority themes, which are creating a green economic footprint, helping develop new skills. The green economy is going to require very different skills than those that we currently have. That's going to be a challenge for the UK and a challenge for us here in Hertfordshire. And I think the good news is that here we're blessed with having a very proactive university, very proactive further education colleges, so we're already heading down that road. And a great example of this is the work that West Hertfordshire College are doing with Stuart Mill and Timber, where they've recently launched an apprenticeship scheme specifically focused on timber frame, sustainable modern methods of construction to create those skills that will help grow that industry in Hertfordshire. So infrastructure provision is also a priority, as is green financing and business engagement and knowledge support. With business engagement and knowledge support being particularly important, if we are to support the transition of Hertfordshire companies to net zero. And we've done a lot in this space. We've created networks to bring companies together. We've already run a number of net zero business campaigns, all designed to improve knowledge and highlight growth opportunities, such as our top 10 carbon tips, our COP26 business summary, and some campaigns around low carbon grants and funding. Well, the last two priorities being sector and place clustering and value procurement. So moving on to talk a little bit about Herts IQ and to shamelessly plug Herts IQ, which I was told I needed to do, but I would have done anyway without being told to do. So Herts IQ is, because I'm very proud of the work that the team do there. Herts IQ is Hertfordshire's enterprise zone. We are located adjacent to Hemel Hempstead, just off junction 8 of the M1. The enterprise zone includes the 5 sites that you see on the slide in front of you there, along with BRE and Rothamsted campuses. Now, we were designated an enterprise zone back in 2017, and were created to deliver clean growth and drive clean growth in Hertfordshire. At the moment, we're focused around 3 sectors: modern methods of construction and off-site manufacturing, agri-tech, and environmental technology and sustainability. And we are a unique partnership consisting of the LEP, St Albans and Dacorum Councils, Hertfordshire County Council, along with BRE, Rothamsted, and the University of Hertfordshire. And all partners bring something special to Herts IQ, but the 2 that I want to kind of focus on briefly today are BRE and Rothamsted. And I'm sure everyone here is aware, you must be aware of Rothamsted because we're sitting here today, obviously. If you weren't aware yesterday, you are today. BRE are have industry-leading expertise and a long history in modern methods of construction and off-site manufacturing. And Rothamsted Research, is a world-leading research centre focused on agricultural science. Now, together, these 2 institutions, have over 275 years of expertise and experience in their sectors, and are right now leaders in the innovation and research needed to deliver sustainable buildings and sustainable agriculture. So they are a real asset for Hertfordshire and a real asset for Hertfordshire's green economy. And we are doing a lot of work to leverage that asset, and there's a lot more to do to continue to leverage that. So finally, as an enterprise zone, we are tasked with creating 3 million square feet of commercial space and 8,000 new jobs. So now the shameless plug. So why bring your business to Herts IQ? Well, we have a superb strategic location just outside London and very close to the M1. We're located in the Oxford, Cambridge, London Golden Triangle, which has a global reputation for scientific research. We can provide access to highly skilled and qualified people through work that we do with the University of Hertfordshire and further education colleges. Obviously, we can provide space. We're tasked with creating 3 million square feet of brand new space. We've also created Herts IQ, which is a really good organisation that brings together, that links businesses to share knowledge, improve collaboration, and drive growth. And the final point there, which is a really important point, we can offer an excellent quality of life. Herts IQ is at the centre of Hemel Garden community, which will transform the area. So not only do we provide a great place to work, we provide a great place to live and to bring up a family. And everything that we're doing in Herts IQ has clean growth as the founding principle or the golden thread that runs right the way through it. So coming back to our clean growth strategy. Now, as I said earlier, the strategy builds on a lot of great work that's already been done. So we are already making progress against it. In terms of against both of the pillars of the strategy. Now, Herts IQ is in place and we're developing commercial space that's primarily focused on green businesses right now. Herts IQ Network is also in place, and it's linking businesses to drive clean growth across Hertfordshire right now. Our further education colleges and our university are developing green skills right now. And we have environmental reduction targets in place for all new LEP projects as they move forward. And we are seeing new businesses come to Hertfordshire, with 2 companies into the sustainable agriculture sector coming here to Rothamsted. So as well as work with existing businesses, well as work with attracting new businesses, now we are supporting existing companies as they transition to net zero. I've talked a bit about the net zero campaigns already. I touched briefly on Herts Growth Hub. I'd encourage everyone to go out and find out who Herts Growth Hub is. But one of the many things that organisation does is provide an access point for SME organisations looking for sustainability advice, help and funding information. We have a really exciting project, a research project at Maylands at the moment, where Eastern New Energy are working with 50 companies there to decarbonise Maylands industrial estate. And when complete, this will be one of the first industrial estate decarbonisation projects in the UK. And we have Herts IQ are working with managing the Herts 2025 e-taxi trial, which is providing advice and support to taxi companies as they transition across to electric vehicles. So a lot has been done, but there's still a lot to do, and a lot to do to get Hertfordshire to net zero by 2050, and the council who've committed to do it by 2030. So to close, our green growth strategy is in place and will help grow and attract low-carbon businesses to Hertfordshire, and will help transition existing businesses to net zero. The strategy is built on some great work that's already been done, so we are making progress against it right now. University of Hertfordshire and the further education colleges are developing the skills needed to grow the green economy right now. And there's excellent partnership working, and hopefully you've seen that today across Hertfordshire. The 10 district councils, Hertfordshire County Council, Hertfordshire LEP, Herts IQ, Hertfordshire Growth Board, University of Hertfordshire, further education colleges, BRE and Rothamsted are all working together and are all committed to growing the green economy and helping companies transition to net zero. And that's, I think, is a really important point, because in isolation we can all do good things. As individuals we can all do good things, but the real power is when we all come together and make this happen, this big change happen. And that work is happening now, and it's really great to see. So Hertfordshire is not only the county of opportunity, it's the county of green opportunity. So thank you for listening to me. I'll be here for the Q&A session later, and hopefully I get a chance to speak to a few of you. And also, there's a Herts IQ stand out in the foyer out there, where Helen and Adam will be there, who can take you through our clean growth strategy and tell you about some of the great work that Herts IQ is doing. So thank you for your time, everyone.